Welcome to SRD Learning Community. A Crow in the House by Ruskin Bond.
A young crow had fallen from its nest and was fluttering about on the road. It was in danger there. Any moment it could be run over by a cart or a bicycle, or it could be seized by a cat. So I brought it home. It was in a sorry condition. Its beak was half open and it could not hold its head up. We did not expect it to live, but my grandfather and I did our best to bring it around. We fed it by opening its beak gently with a pencil. We pushed in a little bread and milk, then removed the pencil to allow it to swallow. For variety, we occasionally gave it a dose of my grandmother's homemade plum wine. As a result, the young crow was soon on its way to recovery. We were then prepared to let him go. We thought he would want to be free and go with the other crows. But he did not want his freedom. Instead, he made himself Atham in our house. My grandmother, Aunt Mabel, and even some of my grandfather's other pets did not like this. But there was no way of getting rid of the bird. He took over the administration of the house. We were not sure he was a mild bird, but we called him Caesar. Before long, Caesar was joining us at mealtimes. He danced about on the dining table. He gave us no peace till he had been given his small bowl of meat, soup, and vegetables. He was always restless and curious. He was always looking into things. He would hop about a table to empty a matchbox of its contents, or rip the daily paper to shreds, or overturn a vase of flowers, or tug at the tail of one of the dogs. "That crow will be the ruin of us," grumbled grandmother. We did try putting Caesar in a cage, but he became very angry. He cawed and flapped his wings so fiercely that we had to let him out again. It was better for our peace of mind to give him the run of the house. He did not show any desire to join the other crows in the banyan tree. Grandfather said this was because he was really a jungle crow, a raven, and probably felt superior to ordinary crows. But it seemed to me that Caesar had grown used to living with humans, like a human. He had become proud and did not wish to mix with his own kind. He would even pick a quarrel with Harold the Hornbill, who was much larger than him. Perching on top of Harold's cage, he would peck at the big bird's feet. Harold would swear and scold and try and catch Caesar through the bars. In time, Caesar learnt to talk a little as raven's hours outside the window, banging on the glass within the click of the gate when I came home from school and say, "Hello, hello." I had also taught him to sit on my arm and say, "Kiss, kiss," while he placed his head gently against my mouth. On one of my Aunt Mabel's visits, he flew up and sat on her arm and cackled, "Kiss, kiss." Aunt Mabel was delighted and leaned forward for a kiss. But Caesar's attention had shifted to my aunt's gleaming spectacles. Thrusting at them with his beak, he knocked them off. Aunt Mabel was never a success with pets. Grandmother said that Caesar was a pest in spite of his engaging habits. It would not have been so bad if he had kept his activities to our own house. But he took to visiting neighbors' houses and stealing pens and pencils one morning. He was especially fond of toothbrushes and made a collection of them on top of the cupboard in my room. Most of the neighbors were represented in our house by a toothbrush. Toothbrush sales went up that year and sodded my grandmother's blood pressure. Caesar spied on children going to the sweet shop and often managed to snatch sweets from them as they came out. Clothes pegs fascinated him. Neighbors would return from the bazaar to find their washing lying in the mud and no sign of the pegs. These too found their way to the top of my cupboard. It was Caesar's gardening activities which finally led to disaster. He was helping himself to a neighbor's beans when a stick was flung at him, breaking his leg. I carried the unfortunate bird home, and grandfather and I washed and bandaged his leg as best we could. but it would not mend. Caesar hung his head and no longer talked. He grew weaker day by day, refusing to eat. An occasional sip of grandmother's homemade wine was all that kept him going. One morning, I found him dead on the sofa, his legs still in the air. Poor Caesar. His anti-social habits had led to his early end. I dug a shallow grave in the garden and buried him there along with all the toothbrushes and cloth pegs he had taken the trouble to collect.
A Crow in the House author is Ruskin Bond. He is an Indian author. He was born in 1934. Characters: Caesar the Crow young boy, grandfather, grandmother, Aunt Mabel, Harold the Hornbill. Fluttering, moving lightly and quickly. Seized. Caught. Occasionally, sometimes. Recovery, the process of becoming well again. Gleaming, clean and bright. Engaging, pleasant, attract and charming. Snatch, grab something suddenly and roughly. Fascinated, deeply attracted. Flung, thrown forcefully. Mend, repair. Antisocial, annoying to people. Shallow, not so deep. Restless, doesn't stay relaxed. Curious, eager to know something. Shreds, small pieces. Grumped, complained. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe to get more great videos like this.